Welcome to Tea and Games. The tea today is, once again, Salty Caramel Pumpkin Black from Tea Runners. Not a paid promotion, I just really like their teas, and we tend to drink this one a lot in the fall. Too hot to drink right at the moment, though. And the tea today, which you cannot see behind all of the stuff, says, you're never too old to play in the dirt. We did some gardening this weekend, but we also played some games. What did we play? These three, which is not a huge amount, but we're not professional board gamers. We're just casual weekend board gamers, and we do a few casual weekend board games whenever we can. Where should I start? I'm looking at my notebook here, which is hidden behind all the boxes. Ooh, let's see. Halloween Patchwork. That's a good place to start. I will lay these down here. Halloween Patchwork, as far as I know, is the only one of the Patchwork series that has rebalanced tiles. Now, I have not looked into like what tiles they changed the numbers on or anything, but I do believe you can find that if you like look online. There are people who have done a tile by tile comparison to see what changed. I like this version because I like the color scheme, honestly. It's got this whole orange and purple thing going on, which is really very nice. I'm not keen on the original Patchwork's color scheme. So we have three different versions of Patchwork, which are basically just reskins, except for this one, which has rebalanced tiles. We have the Valentine's version, in which it looks like a box of chocolates. And we have the Christmas version, in which the tiles look like Christmas presents, Christmas wrapping paper and bows and stuff like that. And that one also comes with a polyomino cookie cutter for Christmas cookies. But this one has eyeballs instead of buttons for your currency, and it has a light side of the board, and it has a dark theme side of the board. So you've got a little bit of options there. And the boards, it's a two-player game for those of you who are not familiar with this classic. It has purple and gold for the two-player colors, and also has a dark side of the board for both of those. And what I presume is meant to be like blood stains on the board, like little pink stains, they actually look more like wine stains. So it's like, booze it up while you're playing Patchwork. Not that that would help you. The eyeballs are the currency. I'm sure little kiddies would get a kick out of eyeballs, but if by any chance any of you are like freaked out by eyeballs, this would not be the version of Patchwork for you. And the tiles are just varying. I can't get the baggie open. The tiles are just varying multicolored tiles of various colors. It does seem to lean into the orange and purple a little bit, but we've also got some greens and golds in there. Patchwork is a difficult game for me. My goal in Patchwork, oh yeah, here's the marker. The marker where the tiles go around is a tombstone marker with like little spider webs over it, and the player peaches are little orange and purple pumpkins. My problem with Patchwork is that I can't win it. I mean, I have gotten into positive numbers because Patchwork is a game, if you've not played it before, Patchwork is a game that despite being a classic, it is very, very easy for you to end the game in negative numbers. The first time we played, we both had negative numbers. But Robert is much better about polyominoes than I am. He is really good at polyomino games. Robert being my husband, for those of you who are new viewers, welcome. He's really good at polyomino games, and he regularly kicks my butt playing polyomino games, most notably playing Patchwork. My goal in Patchwork is to not end up with negative numbers. The game we played this past weekend, I had a -3 and he had a 3. So it's not a super high scoring game. If you like games in which your real good feels at the end of the game is getting like 100 points or 200 points. Yeah, this is not the game for you. This is typically kind of low scoring. You go around, the pieces are laid out in a circle around the board. You move the board according to the numbers on the tiles. The tiles have one number, which is what you pay for them. The other number is the amount you move around the board. At certain points, you can get single patch things to fill holes, because any spot on your board that is unfilled at the end of the game is you lose points for. So it's like, and that's how you end up in negative numbers. So yes, he beat me this time, though not by a huge amount. Yes. But the only polyomino game that I can consistently win against him with is New York Zoo, because you have that whole animal management thing that works in with the whole getting tiles and placing them thing. So Patchwork is a classic. It is by Uwe Rosenberg, and we do rather like his games, particularly the polyomino games, even though I have a really hard time winning them. And that's the thing. I like games, and Robert likes games that we especially don't win. Robert's favorite game is Carcassonne, and as he pointed out, I usually win most of the games of Carcassonne. He rarely wins, and yet it's his favorite game. We play Patchwork, and I think I've won Patchwork once. I have ended up in positive numbers more than once, but I think I've actually only won the game once. And yet I do enjoy Patchwork. It is a very difficult and tricky puzzle. In order to play well, learning the game. This is definitely an entry-level game. If you know like a couple of people, you want to get them into modern board games. This is one of those games that is very easy to learn, very easy to teach. I mean, basically, how the game plays is super simple, but doing it well and doing really well in the game, it is a very tricky little puzzle. So it has that kind of satisfying thing. And if you know people who like puzzles, they may also like it because of the whole polyomino putting things together. Patchwork comes in many different varieties or flavors. I've mentioned seasonal versions like Halloween, Christmas, and Valentine's. But there's also, I think, a 4th of July version, and there's like an old-time American quilt version, and there's the original, which has very, very pastel, because the whole idea is you're making a quilt. Hence the name Patchwork. The original version has like very, very pastel colors for the patches and buttons for what would be the eyeballs in this one. So we played that. We bring it out every Halloween, and I get my butt kicked every Halloween. I don't really notice a difference in how well the game plays with the rebalanced tiles. I kind of do poorly at all of them, so I am not a good judge as to how whether or not this improvement is really improving things. Another thing that we played is we played Welcome To. Regulars to the channel know that we do enjoy this little flip and write game. This is the Dry Erase expansions, which are the seasonal expansions for it, and we've just rolled the base game into it too. The back side of the seasonal expansion boards are regular game boards, so if you pile all your regular stuff in here, then you can play the regular game with this. What happens with the seasonal versions is you have, at least in this version, the seasonal box here comes with dry erase boards. There is a new version of Patchwork, a collector's edition, not Patchwork, Welcome To. There is a new version of Welcome To that should be out later this year that is a collector's edition, which will have dry erase boards for everything and a whole bunch more boards. It will have all of the expansions to date and a few more extra little mini expansion thingies. This is the winter one here. Here is the Halloween board. Nice color scheme, nice fall colors of the trees on the board. You will notice ghost and candy canes on the boards. And this will play into how you get points. Some of these seasonal expansions have just given us fits. There were some that we just had a really tough time with. It's like, yes, very hilarious videos of me losing my mind over just how badly we did. But this one, oh wait, that's Christmas. Here's Halloween. Now, what makes the expansions, aside from the fact that the board is different, because it's got the special doohickeys on it for whatever season it is that you have plans for, you substitute the number 3 house plan for one of these seasonal plans. And here's the thing, the Halloween one is super easy because the 3 plans you have for Halloween is you must get all of the ghosts, circle all of the ghosts and put numbers in all the ghosts on the houses on the bottom row. And this one, you need to get 7 candy corn. That means you circle 7 candy corn. When you put a number in a block that has ghost and candy corn on it, you choose whether to circle ghost or candy corn. So you might be on that bottom row. If this was one of the ones, you would be circling the ghost. And if this was the one, you would definitely emphasize circling the candy. Well, this is, well, they're the same size, but anyhow, almost hit my teen. And the third plan is you need to get 3 blocks of houses that have ghost and candy cane in them, but, and this is written out on the instructions here, you can't, oh, that's summer and spring rules, Halloween rules, you cannot have, you have to have 1 ghost and 1 candy in in each of the 3 estates. So you can't, on the board here, there are a couple of spots. Yeah, what did I do to the board here? There are a couple of spots you may notice where there are houses that have ghost and candy canes right next to each other. So that means you will need to put your fences in such a way that in order to get this one here, so that you have 3 house blocks in which there's only 1 set of ghosts and candy canes in each of the 3 house blocks. But overall, I mean, that was not that difficult. I mean, you can see how to do it. What did I do with this here? And the reason why I say this one is especially easy is because those other 2 cards, the one where you have to collect 7 candy canes or all the ghosts on the bottom street, those also play into special scoring conditions that get you a whole bunch of points. And I just laid it back down again. Okay. You have to get 4, 6, or 9 candy. And when you get the 4, 6, or 9 candy, you will circle it up here. And only 1 person can get that. Other people will mark that one off so that they know that they can't get that. And they can go ahead and get the other scoring things for candy. And that's for the circle candy that you circle when you put the things in there. But the other candy thing is, the other thing is when you reach 4, 6, or 9 ghost, remember you choose ghost or candy when you mark in the house, you can choose a corresponding trick because it's trick or treat. And the tricks are up here at the top. And the first one is you can get a pool. For the first one, you can get a pool or a park. And for 6 ghosts, you can get 2 pools, or you can mark off one of your BIS ones, which are negative points at the end. You can mark off one of those with no penalty. If you get 9 ghosts, you can add 3 parks, or you can remove 2 BIS with no penalties. So the tricks are actually very nice. It helps moderate. You can get some extra stuff, but we mostly used it to mark off BISs so that gave us a little bit more stuff that we could do. But if you think about it, the ghost card here, that is going to help you get those tricks, because if you're marking off the ghost, getting all the ghosts on the bottom rows, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is 5 ghosts. And you need 4 ghosts to get the first trick. you need 6 ghosts to get the second trick. So, I mean, if you're doing this plan, you're well on your way to getting ghosts. Of course, everybody else is too. And the candy cane one, if you'll recall, in the plan was 7 candy cane. So, I mean, if you're going up here and you're trying to get your candy canes to get extra points, and this is 5, 10, and 15 points for 4, 6, and 9 candy canes, well, if one of your city plans is getting 7 candy canes, again, that puts you well on your way. So, we found the seasonal expansion to be really easy and smooth to play. I mean, not any more crazy making than normal, should I possibly say, because I mean, I got stuck. I made some poor choices and I just got myself stuck at one point. And I cannot get all of these back in here and smoothly go on to the other game. So we'll just do that afterwards. And this is Welcome To, and it is the Halloween expansion that I'm talking about. You can buy the Halloween expansion separately, and I believe that comes with a pad with, I don't know, 50 or 100 sheets, something like that, so you can get a good number of plays, especially if you only play it at Halloween. Oh yes, and our score, remember I made a big deal about how I always lose Patchwork. We split the games. We played 2 games of Welcome To, and we each won 1 and lost 1. We did the ghost on the 3rd row plan, and we did the one where you had to have the ghost in the 3 housing estates, the ghost and candy in 3 housing estates. Then the 3rd game we played was Disney's Haunted Mansion, Call of the Spirits. We got this last year and played it last year. I did mention it on a video. I believe I've also done a video on Halloween Patchwork too. And I think I look at that a little bit more closely in that video, so you might want to look back for that. But Disney's Haunted Mansion, when we played it last year, we didn't really understand the scoring conditions very well, and one of us got very badly sandbagged at the end of the game because whoever has the most haunt cards, correction, not the most haunt cards, but the highest total numbers on the haunt cards. I mean, you could each have 3 cards, but if one of them has like a 3 and 2 2s and the other one has nothing but 1s, then the one with the highest total would be the one with the most for the purposes of scoring. And what that means is, see, we were kind of thinking that you just subtracted points at the end of the game. Yeah, kiddies, always look at the scoring conditions before you play the game. So what happened last year is one of us, and I don't even remember who, but we were both pretty dismayed by it, got sandbagged, because at the end of the game, whoever has the highest total in the haunt cards, they remove their highest scoring set of cards and then only score the other ones. So it was like a total blowout. And neither one of us liked that. That just kind of struck us as being, I don't know, just not a good design to basically say that, oh yes, and at the end of the game, if you're doing badly, we're going to dump on you even more. And it's particularly brutal in a 2-player game because it means that one person will have a whole bunch of points and the other person will have hardly any. So it just, neither one of us are keen on that. But that wasn't a problem this time because both of us, now that we know what we're doing, we got rid of all of our haunt cards, and we did a very good job of managing the haunt cards throughout the play, because there are a number of cards that you can pick up that will allow you to discard haunt cards. There was one of the event cards which allowed us to discard a haunt card. And of course, you can always move into the seance room, that's 1 action, and discard haunt cards, that's 2 actions, unless you're already in the seance room, and to discard haunt cards. So there are lots of ways built into the game to discard them. But there are also lots of ways you can get them. And this is something that we were talking about at the end of the game, after we finished playing the game. This game has a lot of meanness built into it. It is, by design, a very combative game. And Robert and I mean, there are some games where you get each other that we're okay with, or where you're fighting over area control that we're okay with, but there are some games that have just a little bit too much take that in it. And I would say that this game is one of those games. Now, the good news is, if you absolutely loathe the take that mechanism, in which you are just basically trying to brutalize the people at the table with you and make their lives miserable, if you don't like that, you don't have to play this game this way. Robert and I am pretty sure this past weekend, we did not play this game the way the designers intended, because it is clear they intended this game to be mean and combative. There are dials for dueling in which you fight other players for cards. Like if somebody has a card that you want. We didn't do that last year when we played this game, and we didn't do it yesterday when we played the game either. Because here's the thing. I mean, and if you, in that whole dueling thing, your bids represent haunt cards that you're taking, though I don't remember if both winner and loser take haunt cards or if it's just the loser. But the fact of the matter is, you're going to be taking haunt cards if you do the dueling thing, or somebody is. So that's another way you can pick up haunt cards. But here's the thing. There's a lot of cards in this game. There are more every single round. More and more cards go out onto the table and into the rooms. I mean, we had no trouble making a whole bunch of different sets without us trying to swipe each other's cards and getting haunt cards as a result. So as far as I'm concerned, and possibly if you were playing with the full number of people, because I think that this game is, what, 4-player? No, it's 2 to 6 players. 2 to 6 players. So yeah, that's a lot of people. It is quite possible that if you're playing this not at 2 players, but at 4 or 6, that enough people are going to be picking up cards that it's going to be kind of hard for you to get the stuff that you want, and then you may have to duel with them. So it's possible that at higher player count, that would be something that you would have to do, in which case people would be taking haunt cards. The other thing that I say has meanness baked into the game design is that I love this board. I really do. It has beautiful, beautiful colors. You can see this. And that central circle in there, it turns. And you turn that wheel and see, Hitchhiking Ghost on the front of this thing. And the Hitchhiking Ghosts are actually a mini that goes, it moves from room to room at the beginning of each round. And you can take haunt cards. You take haunt cards if you go to the room where they are and get cards where they are. You take haunt cards if, because turning that dial and moving everyone's position, what room they're lined up with on the board, is one of the actions you can take. So for one of your actions, you could just basically try to mess up everybody else and make all the other players take haunt cards. Of course, they'll be doing the same thing to you if you play it that way. I'm going to pretty much guarantee it, because nobody likes getting dumped on. But we didn't try to force each other to take haunt cards by moving the dial on our turn. We basically just tried to do our movements and move the dial and pick up our cards in order for us to optimize our hand, our layout here for the various sets that we were trying to get, because it is a set collection game. That part of the game is very simple. You are set collecting, though there are sometimes special conditions on the cards you take that will tell you to take a haunt card or get rid of a haunt card or some other special action. Actually, I don't remember too many special actions, but they have various scoring conditions on them. We enjoy this game, but we play it very nice. We don't try to make each other take haunt cards. We don't duel over cards, because that just strikes us as utterly pointless in a 2-player game, because there are so many cards stacked up in some of the rooms that when our turn comes around, we have to like pick them up and shuffle through them to look and see like what they are, because they've just stacked up so much. So it's like there's no problem. We have no problem making the various sets that we're trying to make. And there's just a ton of different sets you can make and a ton of different ways you can make sets. So it's a fun game, but you can play it nice or you can play it mean. And that's something that you should be aware of if you get this game and your family tends to be very combative and you don't like combative games, or you tend to be very combative and your family doesn't like combative games. There is a certain level of meanness that's baked into the design, and you can ignore that and play it nice if you want to. But you've got to be playing with other people that prefer to have a game without take that, because there's a lot of take that in this game if you want to play it that way. And that whole who has the most haunt cards or the highest total on there, because the haunt cards have numbers on them, who has the highest total for their haunt cards at the end of the game. If you're playing the mean version, if you're playing it with a lot of take that and you're moving that wheel to try to make people take those haunt cards so they have to spend actions or whatever to try to get rid of them, so instead of getting, you know, more stuff, they're trying to get rid of their haunt cards. I mean, if you're doing that, this game can be very, very mean. And you can get a lot of haunt cards, and at the end, when scoring comes around, oh boy, whoever has that highest total, they are going to lose a huge chunk of the cards that they scored. So yeah, that's a lot of points. I mean, you could lose close to 20 points off of that. Something to keep in mind. So the game that we played yesterday, we wiped out all of our haunt cards. We had no haunt cards by the end of the game, neither one of us. And if nobody has any haunt cards, then nobody has to discard anything. And that's truly the goal of this game, really, is to not have any haunt cards at the end of the game. Because, well, I mean, if you're playing with a lot of people, because the haunt cards are face down, you don't know. You know how many cards they have, but you don't know if they've got like 4 1s or if they've got 4 3s, and they likewise don't know what number you have. You just can see how many cards they have, not what the numbers on those cards are. So you can't always bet if everybody's got just a couple of cards that you're going to end up being lowest. And I don't know what happens if somebody ties for lowest if they are not both at 0. And I don't really care because we are playing the nice version of this. And it is a beautiful, beautiful board. I think I will really quickly, just before I sign off, pop this out and show you, because the rule book, and then when you open the box, the first thing you see is this. And that's the back side of the board. The back side of the board has that graveyard. And the front side has this. And isn't that lovely? And there's the wheel for the seance room that goes in the center. But yeah, the aesthetic for this and the quality of the cards and the artwork is just really, really fine. But you can play it nice or you can play it mean, and you need to make sure when you're playing it with somebody that everybody is in agreement on whether or not they're playing it nice or playing it mean, because meanness is baked into the design. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the weekend. We had a lot of fun playing games. Next weekend, we are going to be playing some games with one of Robert's coworkers who's coming over for a Halloween game day. And the plan now is to play Horrified and Campy Creatures. We play Campy Creatures at 2, but it feels like it really needs more than 2 to play. I mean, it's supposed to be 2 to 5. But I don't like the way it plays at 2, so we're going to give it a shot at 3 if we have enough time next weekend when we play with his friend from work. And we're going to get in one of the Horrifieds. I do not know which Horrified we're going to play. We have both American Monsters and the original Universal Monsters Horrified, which is kind of a personal favorite because we just love those old monsters. Anyhow, it's been fun sitting around the table chatting with you. Me, my pumpkin, my bats, and my tea. I will see y'all next time round the table, in which we will look at a few more spooky games before the spooky season ends. Bye!